Hi, I am Marcia Ben from Think Premium JA. Hello, hello, hello out there. And I will be discussing the importance of storytelling in business. So, you know, people don't realize that humans, we are emotional creatures. We actually think by emotion more than anything else. And yeah, as a matter of fact, we fall in love based on emotion and we break up based on a logic. Now, I actually want to highlight something here. I believe it's an article just illustrating the benefits of storytelling in business a bit more. But what I can also say from experience is stories capture the hearts of people. Stories bring people together and they're a great way to build trust. So if I knew that I went through a hard time growing up and I can relate that to somebody else who also had a hard time growing up, I can build a connection because we'd have both gone through that shared experience, even though we both experienced it at different times in slightly different ways. Now, storytelling in business, according to blogmodernglb.com, is the act of utilizing human connection in order to engage an audience to take a desired action, such as buying a product or service. And as I said before, stories bring people together and they're a great way to build trust in an organization. Now, with storytelling, you do want to be genuine. You want to use authenticity here. You want to use vulnerability and it doesn't necessarily mean sitting down and reading nobody no bedtime story. Nobody's asking for that. What we want you to do is really just like strike an emotional connection. And to do that, vulnerability is powerful. You need to be vulnerable. You need to be transparent. You need to share a side of you that, persons probably might not realize because it helps engage your audience. I mean, and I like how this source outlines it, blog.modern.gov.com, is that, no matter what, stories mean a lot more, or encounters mean a lot more, explanations mean a lot more when you build a story to back it up. You realize that Jesus spoke in parables? Like when he was explaining like different concepts, you realize that he spoke in parables? The parable of the three servants, the parable of the 10 virgins, the parable of the, trying to think of another parable, hold on. The parable of the, get back to that, right? But even with using an example, the faith as small of a mustard seed, that's an example that, anybody who knows what a mustard seed is knows it's tiny. But faith as small as a mustard seed can move mountains when you back it with faith. And in lieu of stories, you can also use analogies as well, just to not only build a human connection, but create a very vivid picture in the minds of people. Now, when you're coming up like with a new idea or anything like that, a story behind it makes it real. Companies trying to build a connection with people, you create an avatar around what you think the customer look like, and then you create your offering around that. Now, storytelling like this helps the audience to connect with you so that they build trust with you. I mean, you come across as a human being. You come across as someone that's, you're not just forcing numbers my way, but you're actually trustworthy. Like, it becomes something that makes you reliable, if you will, makes you memorable. People feel your character based on the stories that you tell. I mean, I'm sure you'd have recalled thousands or many examples of leaders or public figures who use stories. Steve Jobs, when he had introduced the iPhone back in 2007, he used the timeline of Apple products to show how far the company came. And he touched on a crucial aspect of the audience's pain points. And people remember stories. People don't really remember numbers and unless it's like really dramatic. And even then, they remember numbers because of the story behind it, if you will, the emotion behind it. And stories help to emotionally connect people to create loyalty. Because if you can see that people can genuinely resonate with your story, like your story, let's say Ben Carson, when he had told his story to that underperforming high school back in the day in a rough neighborhood, his story was what made those teenagers that the school administration literally was warning him that would have probably done at best throwing stuff at him, at worst probably attacked him while he was on the stage or just not listened. He connected with them. They hung on to every word that Dr. Ben Carson said. They literally stopped him afterwards for pictures and autographs and just asking him a whole bunch of questions. Like they were just so loyal to him as a speaker that he got their undivided attention. Like they edified him the entire time. They were listening attentively, silence, hush, because he could resonate with being an underdog. He could resonate with being the bottom of his class and everybody saying that you're stupid. He could resonate with that. He could resonate with feeling inferior. So his indifference was a shield to not highlight just how inferior he felt because of his poor academic performance, being at the bottom of his class in grade five. Yet, um, like 2, 3 years later in ninth grade, he's at the top of his class. You know, so these things do resonate with people. And stories help to humanize an organization. You're not just like a profit seeking machine. A story that people can see in your organization helps them to identify with it. You realize that people identify with Apple. It's not because they make nice products. There's a story behind Apple. Like people who buy Apple products are different. You think differently. People don't want to be like everybody else. People want to be different. So people identify shoot, I don't even have an Apple and I kind of like the idea. I'm going to be honest with you, right? So it's not a guaranteed idea that works every time, but I mean, having a story makes people connect with your brand. Being that brand that's edgy, fun, creative, resourceful, innovative, and young and vibrant, that's a story. People buy into that. People will want to be around that brand if they see themselves in that story. If they don't see themselves in that story, they're not going to be around your brand. And as a matter of fact, it actually allows you to create a competitive advantage storytelling because, it's so easy to get lost in the noise and everything happening out there that you need something to stand out. If you don't have a good story behind you, man, you're not going to make a connection. You're going to get lost in the sauce. You're going to be just like everybody else. Nobody gets up to buy a big investment to be like everybody else. When you're buying your dream car, you're not buying your dream car to look like everybody else. Nobody dreams about buying a Yaris or a Corolla. People dream about buying a Lambo, buying a Bugatti, buying a Porsche, like buying a Bentley. Nobody dreaming about buying no Corolla. Come on. A Fit? A Honda Fit? Come on, man. Nobody dreaming about it. I mean, it's okay for your first car, but ain't nobody dreaming about that. And that's just it right there. And you notice that the Bugattis and the Lambos and the Bentleys, you ain't never seen them running no ad on TV. They don't have to. The story behind it. That story makes its own marketing campaign. They don't need commercials. Corollas run commercials. Saturns run commercials. They don't. A Bentley, a Porsche, an Aston Martin. Ew. No such thing. No such thing. So whether the story is like wrenching, like it's really sad or it's like really funny, it makes an emotional connection and people will connect to your brand because of that story. Right? And that's really just something to bear in mind there. So Stories are huge. Now, you either can do it for your brand by coming up with an avatar that best represents what your target audience is like. And you do that through like research. So you can do that through like social media listings. So you're looking on different platforms to see what hashtags people use, what content people are posting about or talking about. Um, what what are some of the feedback that your audience members have? Blogging sites like Quora, Reddit, great places. HubSpot, I think too. I haven't been on HubSpot in a minute, but they have good stuff. Amazon book reviews. Don't sleep on them Amazon book reviews, man. Don't sleep on them. There's some good content there to sit on and read those reviews. Or even like the product testimonials, you'd be surprised. There's some good some good feedback there. And yeah, of course, there's also Google too. RSS feeds for your email, you can actually use it to see what topics get sent to your email daily. Granted, you'll probably get bombarded with a lot of stuff and your inbox might stop working after a while, but it's useful content. LinkedIn groups as well, also pretty good. Great insights. I've gotten a lot of insights through that. And just like using terminologies and details that your target audience cares about really helps. So that's it for me. Let me know other points you think would be important where storytelling for businesses are concerned. I'd love to hear. Like, comment down below. And lastly, before I go, just a reminder, I do offer digital marketing services like social media marketing, email marketing, blogging, other forms of sales operating. I have two online courses, and I also offer business consultation services as well to help businesses to close more sales and really set up themselves to achieve their strategic goals. So reach out to me if you have any questions and to get that moving. Plus, I do have an online store where I sell several products that you're likely to be running out of in the next 2 weeks anyway, like laundry detergent, multivitamins, meal replacement shakes, protein powders, skincare products, makeup, etc. So reach out to me to let me know. Always happy to assist. And that's it for me. Take care, have a wonderful day, and remember to never stop dreaming. Bye bye.